want to talk about something I've been really noticing a lot on Instagram for the past few years, but even more heavily over this last year in time. I think it's important to be weary of anybody who promotes their lifestyle and way of living as the be-all, end-all way of doing it. I'm talking most specifically when it comes to anyone promoting their nutritional dietary lifestyles, because I believe there is basically this subtle digital social media war that's been happening for a while now. And it has to do with the two sides being the 100% plant-based side and the people who practice more animal-based diets, whether that's like keto, carnivore, or just whole food, whatever it may be. I think it's really pertinent to just be careful and wary about who you're listening to, because in my belief, there's no one right way to eat or live your life. But I see so many influencers on both sides just absolutely berating each other. And even though they're not necessarily calling each other out individually, they're calling out that whole way and decision that other people are eating. Today I saw this guy talking, he's vegan, and talking about how basically you cannot be enlightened, you cannot be more connected to the earth and spirit and think clearly unless you are completely vegan and you're just eating completely plant-based and eating the fruits of the earth. And then I was following many different influencers who were talking about how animal-based is the only way. It's the only way to truly bring proper nutrition to your body, because meat carries all of these, vital nutrients that all humans need, okay? And I just don't believe this to be a truth on either side, okay? I don't believe anyone is better than each other just because they choose what to eat or what not to eat in their life. Now, I do have my opinions on what is the best way to approach a dietary lifestyle based on whichever dietary lifestyle works for you. Whether you're vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, animal-based, carnivore, there's all very important things to know with whatever you choose and however you choose to do it. What I believe is if we limit how much heavily and overly processed and refined foods that we eat, that we are going to thrive the most. And I don't care if it's overly processed and highly refined sugars, carbohydrates, oils. I think limiting as much of those as possible in whatever realm that you're choosing of how you want to eat and live your life is what matters most, because there is back science. I mean, so much of our food today has terribly chemical additives, preservatives, food dyes that are directly linked to illness, sickness, disease, whether it's carcinogenic or whatever. It's irrefutable evidence. But they're on all sides of dietary lifestyle. One doesn't not have it. And then I also see people who talk about how we must not demonize these certain areas of our life, because when we demonize certain ways of eating, that causes stress, that causes inflammation, causes us not to be able to digest our food properly, causes fat gain and sickness, illness, and disease. And I do believe we shouldn't demonize any food, but I do believe there are different perspectives and approaches to when people make these conscious choices in their life. If someone knows that their body doesn't do well with carbohydrates and sugars, or at least a lot of them, that eliminating them is okay. It's not demonizing them, it's just knowing what works. Same for people who know meat they don't digest meat well. It doesn't feel good when they eat it. Okay, let's not eat it then. If that works best for you and you're thriving, great. And then for people who do eat meat and who demonize so many different kinds of plants, it's like, okay, but those plants work for other humans who are living and thriving. Why are we going to just demonize? You know, it's one thing to be a health promoter and say, you know what, this is my lifestyle, this is what works best for me, and I'm just sharing my knowledge about that, and allowing there to be a coexisting of all realms, okay? And again, I'm someone who just doesn't feel that, no, we shouldn't demonize these things, but we shouldn't also put ideas in people's heads of, if people are consciously choosing not to eat seed oils or choosing not to eat sugars or anything, that they are just all of a sudden demonizing their choices. That's not a truth. And there's so much of this going on in the health world, especially in nutrition and fitness. What I keep wondering is, why can't we just all support each other in our different lifestyles? Why can't we just coexist and respect that that person is vegan and that works best for them and they're thriving? That person is animal-based and works best for them and they're thriving. Why can't we coexist? Why can't we be more curious about it? I see, I'm more animal-based myself. I try to limit overly eating heavily refined carbohydrates and sugars, and even limit my carbs, but I absolutely don't demonize carbs. When I want rice, I'll eat rice. When I want a piece of sourdough bread, I eat a piece of sourdough bread. Hell, if I want a piece of candy once a year, I'll eat that piece of candy. I don't care. But I'm not also going to demonize it, and I'm not going to judge anyone else for their choice and think that I am better for that. I have a brother who is vegan, and when we hang out and we talk about, you know, how we eat and everything, we talk to each other with respect. We don't argue against each other whatsoever. I love that he is living and thriving well being a vegan, and he understands and respects why I am animal-based and understands how it works for me. Why can't we promote this kind of energy to people and understand that there is no one way or right way? It's the only way that works best for you. And that's all that matters. Let's drop the judgment about who's doing it the best, who's doing it more ancestrally. I see that on both sides. Oh, our ancestors only ate plants. Oh, our ancestors used to eat high volumes of meat. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit at this point? Let's just coexist. Let's just respect each other for our own personal life choices, as long as they are not directly harming us physically, mentally, or emotionally. That's all that should matter. I love that my brother is vegan. I absolutely love it. I love the mission that he has based on it. And guess what? He has the same love and respect for me and my mission, which is just overall promoting health. You know, we just love promoting health. It doesn't matter what side of the coin you're on. Fuck it. It doesn't matter what side of the coin you're on. It's just about living with love and respect, compassion, understanding, and objectivity. That's how we're going to get to a more peaceful world. Just understanding each other as humans and our differences. So again, this is just me saying that if you follow an influencer of some sort, especially when it comes to dietary and fitness lifestyle, and they are just saying that their one way is the only way, it's the right way, it's the only best way, be wary. Okay, because that is coming from a whole lot of judgment, and it's coming from a whole lot of self-righteousness and a little bit of manipulation in a way too. But I recently just went through and unfollowed so many of these people, because it's just like, who are you to say that your way is the best way? You clearly don't have respect for other people and their lifestyle choices that work for them. So this comes from a whole lot of love. Hope you all have a blessed day. Peace.